I will never forget where I was September 11th, 2001. I was in college. I was a sophomore. I was in Old Testament prophets class at Baptist Bible College. I remember the president's secretary walking into the room, whispering something in our professor's ear, and then suddenly him looking at all of us with a very pale face, saying that America was under attack. And we all sort of got up from the classroom and went and crowded around all the nearest TVs on campus that we could find to discover that's exactly what happened. Airplanes had flown into the Twin Towers in New York City, and that changed everything. It changed the way we travel. It changed churches. I mean, churches were flooded that night, that weekend. People were looking for answers. And I remember being young, wondering what it would be like to be around for some of these historic events and live to tell about it. My kids have books called I Survived, where people are giving accounts of what it was like when the volcano erupted, or when the hurricane came, or when the tornado came ripping through. And so there was an interest, I think, in all of us, like, what would we do in these extreme cases? And I got to tell you, we're in one of those extreme cases right now. Things are changing. This event, the outbreak of the coronavirus, is going to be an event that's going to be in your kids' history books. They're going to read about it, and they're going to look at you as the old people, as the adults, and say, what was it like when that was happening? What your school shut down? You couldn't go to church? What was going on with all that? And you'll be able to tell the tale. And I know that when we enter into these kinds of situations, we don't know how we're going to respond. But then ideas start to flood our mind. How we're going to fill our time. If we can't go to school, what are we going to do? If we can't go to church, what are we going to do? I just want to challenge you to think about this. You can live today and choose to live through this event, whatever it's going to be and however it's going to turn out, in a way that you don't regret. Here's what I mean. You can choose to binge watch something on Netflix. And I'm not saying that's wrong. All I'm saying is, in 20 years, you won't remember what you did. You won't remember what you watched. But in 20 years, if you did something significant, if you used this time out of school and away from the normal rhythms of life to do something significant, to serve someone in a significant way, they'll never forget it. How you entertain yourself, you won't remember 2 weeks from now. But the difference you make in someone's life can be eternal. That is, they never forget it. And God accepts it as a worthy sacrifice, as an offering, something that pleases Him. I think of Esther, the Bible book of Esther. This is a young Jewish girl who's kidnapped by another nation, and because she's beautiful, they've chosen her to be a part of the king's harem. And so she's in this beauty pageant, basically, where the king can come select the most beautiful woman that he wants to take her as his queen. And so Esther is that one. Well, behind all of this is a sinister plan by one of the king's officials to wipe out the entire Jewish race, all of the Israelite people. And Esther is a Jew, of course, but she is also the queen. And her cousin, Mordecai, challenges her to do something about this plot from the government official to take out all the Jewish people. And he said, listen, God is going to save His people one way or another. We know that. But maybe for such a time as this, He put you in that royal position to be able to provide a great deliverance for God's people. So God was going to do what He's going to do, but how amazing was it for Esther to be a part of the deliverance of God's people? That's exactly what she did. You can read about it in the book of Esther. Specifically, Esther chapter 4, verses 12 to 14 is where Mordecai challenges her and says, maybe for such a time as this, you were put into your royal position. And I wonder about you guys. For such a time as this, you are put in this position to make a difference in whose life? I want to challenge you just to look to your right and look to your left. Who's around you that you can reach out to? Who's around you that you can minister to and maybe make a difference in their lives? All of us will have opportunities to make some kind of impact.